Well, Persona 3 is getting a remake, so... Hello, everyone. This is David Leibowitz with Philosophy of Video Game Philosophy. I did a quick poll for Persona 3 stuff. Again, remakes coming out. So let's talk about Burn My Dread. I also put Memories of You as an option, but this is what won over by a landslide, so we're going to do it. I am a philosopher. I understand my Jungian psychology. I understand the psychology behind these games, which is Carl Jung. I actually know the Japanese Jungian side. I know the existentialist side, the Nietzschean side, all of what you need to know. I can't give you as much music theory advice, but I can definitely give you some performance advice, because I am a singer. I am a trained singer. So, without further ado, let's go. Burn my dread! So we talked a little bit, the notion of no sound, we talked about this a little bit with the Lotus Juice remix, the backside of the TV. No sound. When you're in the collective unconscious, there is really no sound. Like the part of ourselves that exists connected to all of the people because of biology that connects us with our archetypes. But the Dreamless dorm, think about this. The Dreamless dorm is because everyone else in the Persona 3 universe, when they go to sleep in the dark hour, they go into coffins. So technically, one could say that the Persona 3, the C Squad, can actually, they're technically not dreaming by forever being so you could sort of say that they're lucidly dreaming when they're in the dark hour. They're forever aware that they're in the dream. That's what lucid dreaming basically is. But also the notion that dreamless, that this is that our lives are disconnected from the collective unconscious, connected from our psyches, connected from our inner selves, which is the problem why all these characters are facing this existential life, because there is a suicide crisis, that a bunch of apathy and a lot of lack of meaning. So people are not getting through. That's why there's so many shadows out. Takaya says in in the Persona 3 novel, Shadow Cry, Takaya says that the shadows, the leader of Strega says the shadows are, in fact, creations of apathy, of people's apathy syndrome. So it is basically the existential dread. That's the shadows that you're fighting in Persona 3. My ghostly shadow, obviously this is the shadow, as the Persona series should tell you, is the part of this self that you reject. Not as much in Persona 3. They wait until kind of like the answer to tell you that they are really parts of the self. But yes, my ghostly shadow, the part of myself, the part of me that is meaningless, the part of me that is empty, this is what needs to be accepted. And when these characters they evolve their personas, they accept this emptiness, they accept the dread, but they keep on going. This is, again, the emo game. Obviously, the fighting that's going on. I mean, the figure of Makoto, the protagonist, is very much emo, very much dead inside. Of course, there's many differences in his characterization, but he's not as social. And he basically is... All these people are just like... Actually, there's a notion, especially in the Japanese context, of ego death. And that is basically what Makoto has. He has a very, very weak ego that he's able to very easily drift himself into the unconsciousness and accept his suicide. That's why he has the wild card, because he so easily accepts his death to the point of sacrificing himself in the final... Yes, this spoilers. But I think most people know that's going to happen anyway, that he's... Yeah. But going forward, spoilers, of course. But yes, that his ego is so empty. And ego death is not itself a notion of suicide. actually, in the notions of rebirth, especially in the Japanese context, that ego death is necessary for people to go forward, to say that they're going to kill themselves. Still better to not do this, especially in the American context, but people say that they're going to kill themselves. So they actually go forward and they grow from it. Sort of like post-traumatic gain. Like how people gain something after their trauma. When people sort of can... Jung has this notion of inner rebirth. That's why, I mean, the ending movie is called... For the movie's adaptation, it's called Winter of Rebirth. Because it's sort of... Yes, the character in reality does die, but he's reborn as part of the seal, and everyone else is reborn as well. Though they're all, in the answer, pretty grouchy about it. Especially Yukari, of course. So, burn my dreams. It's so, burn my dreams. It's a little, it's like, but what is burn my dream? What does it mean? I mean, it means to accept the fact that you're going to die. Expect that to get away from all fear. Not to say that fear isn't necessary, but the fear of, get away from your death, accept the cyclical process of their lives, especially in the Japanese context, and give up to the world. Give yourself up to the world is the necessity. And live playfully and live with the emptiness of the ego. But I once ran away from the god of fear. So I think this is very interesting. What could the god of fear be? Is the god of fear Nyx? I think the god of fear actually might be referring to Yahweh. I think that it's especially because, this is my crackpot theory, Makoto's final persona before Fes is Messiah, Jesus. So it's sort of this Japanese struggle with meaning and accepting Christianity. And I think that the god of fear, I mean, you're supposed to, especially in the Christian context rather than the Jewish context, fear God. So if I ran away from God, I get chained away to despair. Now I'm in this Western Tartarus hellhole. But if I accept Jesus or the Abrahamic God into my life, it might be better. But now we have the Nietzsche. Now we have the Nietzschean context that Messiah might be Nietzsche's Antichrist. That maybe I ran away, but no, now I can sort of accept, have the rebirth of it, the Jungian Aquarian rebirth of the revitalization of the Christian tradition, or revitalization of our tradition, and I run towards the sunlight, the life to light. Nietzsche talks about the light, this innocence, the creative longing for the world, the playfulness towards the world. And this is what, as we just talked about with the name of heaven, I don't need to go up to heaven, I just can walk. That is, so no, I don't actually need God. I rest off the chains of God, and I don't need him anymore. I left my face and run to the sunlight. Lift my face. It's like going up, but I will still look up to the world. So maybe God can be there, but this is a new version of God, not this tyrannical God, not the God of fear, the God of love. And that's either a God up there, or it's in ourselves. Sunlight, the creative warmth, the light turning darkness into light. This is the Hermetic, as Junpei, his Hermes and his evolutions, Hermes as Trismegistus, so Hermes, thrice straight Hermes, is about turning darkness into light, which Jung got great stuff from. I definitely can do a video talking about the influence of the Hermetic tradition on Jung and how that relates back to Junpei. But basically, this is the turning the darkness into light. This is exactly the Jungian idea. We turn our shadows, we accept them as personas, as in these games, or just accept them as archetypes, and integrate them into self, and we have a full self, and feel better, and individuate. hear that edgy, emo angst? Voiceless town, tapping. Again, this nights, it's the dark hour, people are in their coffins, they're just unaware of themselves, they're in their dreams. They're unaware that they are about to die. That they will... Tapping feet, you just hear the voices in the collective unconscious, the voices of the world, the sea of souls, all coming together. I clench my fist in pockets tight. Welcome to the Black Parade, my father said to me. Help me, he's like, yeah, yep, we love you, that emo song. Either way. To the do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. But, yeah, and it's just emo angst. Tower, of course, is Tartarus. The tomb where all the shadows, where all of our meaninglessness has gotten together, because this is the hotbed of the shadows, where everyone's meaningless angst created by the scientific age, the lack of meaning when science killed God, when God died. This is Japan, or the whole world is dealing with the death of God, the death of religion, and the lack of meaning in our lives. In the moonlight. But it's a little lighter. You hear the nice lightness to the voice. It's not as angsty. You hear the angsty guitar in the background, but you hear the nice lightness. Do 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 do. It's like a lot more like, but there's a levity to it. There's a chance of hope. One would say, in the words of Persona Q, this is the maze of life. Yeah, I mean, this is Tartarus, but it's also like the end of our life. Like, we don't know where the light's gonna be. We don't know the clockwork, the light. I mean, as they go through and they end up and they fight Nyx, it's sort of just like, this is the similarity of us going through our lives and fighting the meaninglessness and the angst. As Heidegger would say, we are being toward death. Now, I still prefer Nietzsche, where we're being towards life, and I think this is the Nietzschean going against that, but we are fundamentally this angst and this inner tension in ourselves, especially in the lack of meaning in the Japanese society with their death of their loss of Buddhism and Shinto roots, even if it's there, but we can talk a lot more about that in other times. Again, like time freezes because dark hour. I mean, yeah, that's what happens. I have to beat up, I have to fight mercilessly against this struggle against me. Like, the fact that they don't accept the shadows, they have to kill them, means that it's just, as Akihiko says in the answer, we haven't changed society. Yeah, you just prevented everyone from mutually killing themselves. That's all you did. You didn't actually, like, really change things. You've still, like, destroyed a lot of people haven't accepted their shadows. They have to be destroyed instead. So it's pretty iffy, my friend. My trembling gun, cold touch of my trembling gun. Like, this notion of, like, okay, no, but I'm trembling. I have to shoot myself. I had to exit the ego. I had to open up the self to the shadow and communicate to the archetypes. That's how. My trembling gun. I close my eyes to hear you breathe. I close my eyes to hear you breathe. There's a nice levy breathe. Because it's like, oh, but no, breathe. Like, there's this notion that, so I've ended, but no, I've just reborn. I've accepted the archetype. I've summoned my persona, and Yukari's right there. Junpei's right there. Akihiko, Mitsuru, Fuka, best boy, Koromaru, best character in the game. All of that. They're there. They're alive. We've done it. I haven't I've just reborn. The wayness, the inner sea feels sort of like water. Listen to my my breakdown of the Persona 3 Reload tab. Again, water is a symbol of the unconscious, and this feels like water and the collective unconscious. And like the notion of the Sea of Souls as we found in Persona 1. And we still come from Persona 2 and 3. Like the personas are born of the sea of thy soul, because that is the conscious. It's a sea because it's empty. It's completely nice. It's cool. It's like we have to plunge into the water to understand the unconscious, which we can't fully ever go. But we can always communicate with it and understand it. The genes that communicate with us. No! Ah! It's triumphant! This kind of feels like I've just completely killed God. That I've said no. I'm done with the one could say the demiurge. Yaldabaoth, the god of the Old Testament that says thou shalt not this, and accept only the New Testament God, which is the god of love, the monad, which is the final floor in Fess and Portable Monad. That extra floor, because that's the god of love, Monad. Yeah, I know it's like this first is like it's wrestling with the sort of like wrestling with the angel, but sort of like this is also either or it's the devil. This is obviously actually a figure to Revelation, but it's God Himself that goes in because you got to kill God. Because we go away, but we sort of accept it and we integrate God into ourselves. We integrate the figure of Christ. We become the Antichrist ourselves. Sort of, it's a nice reverse. Again, we go towards the I will shrug away the pain and run to see the sunlight again. Like, I love it. It's talking about going forward in life, walking, running. I will not just walk, I will run. I'll go forward because I will accept that there is meaning in this new life and do away with this Aquarian age and go forward. Sunlight again. Oh, I will run, but no regret and the fire of life, the fire of the burning passion that accepts me and imbues me with being and blazing, as Guilty Gear would say. Regret, all my regrets, all the things I could have, should have, would have done. No, that's all done. Instead, we go forward, we love ourselves, and we kick ass. That's what we do. And I will praise the song with the pride of the living. Again, we don't look at the word with the moon, Nyx, the moon. No, we go towards the loving sun. And collectively embrace the world with love and light, because we have enlightened all the darkness in ourselves, the darkness of everyone else, and gone forward and individuated. That is beautiful, and I love this. All right, on to Burn My Dread Last Battle. Back, and we're going to do Persona 3 Burn My Dread Last Battle lyrics. And again, definitely spoilers for this. So, let's go. I will. Woo! Boom, doom, burn my dread. Sorry, talking about burn my dread, so gonna look at all the new stuff. Woo! I mean, literally, He is literally inside of Nyx. You ain't surviving that shit.
Both hands are behind you just now. Never win that race against rage, then you can't cause this. No.
The invisible hand is death. That is literally just death coming to kill you.
Man's land.
The mask are personas, literally, but it's like in heavy rain, so our persona, our ego, our world showing to the world is fundamentally gone. Our tears, we're fundamentally in depression because we're about to die. Literally, this character's about to die and sacrifice himself.
Make shadow slave what we've done.
Make shadow slave. What we've done is in vain. We have made our shadows slave. We have not. This is all like we have not accepted the shadows. We have not allowed meaning in our lives, and now we are in vain. This is brilliant.
Is in vain. Yelling AK-47 24/7, but you got.
This is just freaking you're like you're constantly in aggression mode. We are living in a society that is constantly hateful, even in the collective society. The fact that, again, there's a lot of characters wish death on us, and also might be referring to Kaya because of the death wish list that Takaya would go and kill people. Basically the little Death Note thing going on, because that happened in that game too, like once, and that was an interesting thing going on. We're persecuted by heaven because we have this horrible relationship again with the God of fear. This relationship with God is not good, and the way towards heaven. I mean, heaven right now wants to literally kill everyone because it doesn't want it. It's Erebus. It's Erebus touching Nyx to make it happen. But basically, yeah, you gotta live. It's like, I mean, this horrible relationship with God. That's the problem.
Persecuted by heaven, comes to a direction, no indication. You got to let it move first, let it out, let it down, let it inside.
No, you gotta let the gun into your head. It's literally just about the suicidal thing of like let the gun into you, open the ego and burn the dread, and just he's like literally just telling Mako to pull the trigger, pull the trigger, pull the trigger. Be Jesus, sacrifice yourself for the greater good.
Let loose, better let it in, depressed.
You're depressed, you're emo, it doesn't matter. You gotta go. That's exactly why you gotta go. You're gonna do this. Your emo-ness is gonna save the world, baby.
Get it up, then what you gonna do is drop a hammer down.
Drop the hammer down, you're gonna die, you're gonna die.
Drop hammer, digging like a labor. You got blood all over.
You freaking
ash all over. Spit it out, some game's over.
Oh! It's not good, man. Tear up your fear, the end is coming. Your literal death is coming near.
Coming in, spit it out like a spear, I'll burn
You're done. But for the greater good, man. This is the Japanese way. When you sacrifice yourself, this is literally kamikaze, bushido. The sayings of sacrificing yourself for the greater good. And now, of all times, this is reliving, re-accepting the integrating the Japanese spirit. Not saying that everyone should do this. And this is actually partially why people do kill themselves in Japan, is they feel like they're sacrificing themselves for the greater good, which is an issue, very big issue. But it's not good. But he's doing it. He's sacrificing. He's being altruistic, and he's sacrificing out for everyone else's sins.
No soul, robust, be bust, justice to the man with no life.
Justice to the man. That's Makoto. He's like, I'm gonna end it.
Tear up the fear, the end is coming in. Spit it out like a spear, I'll burn the dread.
I think we're getting towards the end. All dust, you're done.
Justice to the man with no life.
Alright. I mean, this is a banger. Alright, I believe, let me just check and see. Yeah. Oh, wait, let's actually check this. Wait. If you'll ever win that, wait. Wait. No, you be king because it's like you're literally just, you're king. He's king because he's inside of death. Inside the moon. Inside of a planet. Let's watch the Nanoline video on Nyx and the collective unconscious and Nyx being a planet, this whole thing. But Yeah, no, I mean, you're king. I mean, but also, you're no man's land. You've gone somewhere. You've gone into the absolute, you have literally inside of the collective unconscious right now. And you have dug to nowhere, and you are king, the archetype of the king, the leader, Jesus, the king, the Lord of Lords, is fundamentally, you have the archetype of the king who knows better than everyone else, and is a leader, because that's what Makoto is doing. All right, I think that's it. I hope you guys are all excited for Persona 3 Reload. It's gonna be great. I don't think they're gonna screw it up. All right, this definitely going to be more Persona content. I feel like this channel's finally been Guilty Gear, but love to do more Persona content. I love Jung, I love all this stuff, and love to talk about more. All right, everyone, this is David Leavis, Philosophy of the Game Philosophy. Peace.